With me now, Leslie Vinjamuri, President and Chief Executive of the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. Right, so we have now, you may not, in the last 20 minutes or so, President Trump spoke to President Putin, and there's going to be the hope is for a bilateral between Zelenskyy and Putin, which would follow on with a trilateral where President Trump joined them. How risky is all of this without a ceasefire in place before it all kicks off?
Well, everything right now is a question of alternatives. Absolutely, it's been made very clear by Zelenskyy, by the range of the extraordinary number of European leaders who have turned up to Washington, that ceasefire is critical. It's obviously critical. Russia's continued its attacks, as we've just heard, and as we continue to see. But in the absence of that, should there be talks, given where we are now, right? Given that Alaska summit has taken place, whether people wanted it or not, it's taken place. Should there be talks? I would say yes.
Right.
Clearly, that push for a ceasefire is still critical. And there are so many questions. I think that the key thing is there should be talks, but nothing should be given away without very clear conditions and without Ukraine being in the room and being on side.
Right, but let me jump in on this, because the one thing that's not clear to me is how far President Trump can, in a sense, ignore, not deliberately, but choose, if the Europeans back Zelenskyy on things like land and on all the other issues, can President Trump withstand that sort of, we don't agree with you, and does he have to meet them halfway, or can he just, of course he can, but is he likely to just wipe his hands of the whole affair and sort of side with Putin?
I don't think so. The thing that we just cannot see our way through is when President Trump is going to use his leverage, use America's power, its coercive machine to require something of Vladimir Putin. But do I think that Donald Trump is going to just walk away and completely abandon Ukraine and Europe? We all thought he might in the run up to his inauguration, but it's pretty clear that that is actually not the direction that President Trump is going. There's a big distance between, making that land deal that Russia wants, and something in between that and what Zelenskyy wants, and everything sort of sits in that messy middle. How it unfolds right now, we have very little to go on. What we can see is that Zelensky's making an effort, right? He's saying, we will purchase arms, 100 billion. We will work with you to co-produce drones. There are offers being made. Zelensky's giving something, but yeah, he needs that ceasefire, and Europeans want it as well.
Back to this idea of the land, because it strikes me that all the rest is, as Fred Plotkin said, the easy bit's the security guarantees, in a sense. The ceasefire is significant because it halts the killing, but it's the land. That's going to be the bit. And I wonder, let's assume Crimea and parts of Donbass where Russia already has control. But can you see any scenario where where the Europeans and Zelenskyy agree to hand over land that Russia doesn't already control?
Well, two things. The first is there's a difference between legal recognition, handing that land over, and de facto. That's actually a major, not a minor point. The second thing is I don't agree. It's not just land is not the overwhelming issue. It's a very important fact, but those security guarantees are everything. If you assume that Vladimir Putin might, and people disagree on this, right? Does he have wider ambitions? If he does, then those security guarantees are actually absolutely everything. The idea that Europeans would have troops in Ukraine is intolerable, probably to Vladimir Putin. They would likely become targets. The idea that the United States, under this president, would put people in Ukraine is even extraordinary to contemplate. Trump has said that it's not off the record. But this is actually the security guarantees, the deterrence, the ability of the United States with its European allies to deter future aggression is absolutely critical. It's not only about land, although that's clearly very important.
I'm so grateful. Thank you for giving us the wider perspective. We'll talk more about this because every twist and turn has another 1,000,001 avenues that we need to consider. Thank you for your time this evening.